What is up, everybody? It's Jeff. Welcome to the Horror Feed. Today is exciting. I have been stoked for this. I have been waiting for this for a while. We have an interview with the one and the only co-founder of Fuzz on the Lens Productions, Mr. Jason Leavy. Sir, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show and on the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me on, and it's an honor to be on your show. And thank you for bringing me on to talk all horror and stream and everything that's upcoming.
Yes, sir. And like I appreciate your time. Let's just jump right into it. Okay. I want to talk about stream. Like as you know, I've already had an interview with Mr. Mark Haynes, player four, the one that
There
I'm
you go.
going for. No offense.
It's all good. It's all fun and games. All good.
But you guys have been in production with this movie for quite some time now. I know it's been like a it hasn't been just like, oh, we're just up and doing this. It hasn't been a recent thing. You guys have been planning this out. Can you just give us like a walkthrough? I want the meat and potatoes, like what started this dream for stream? Like, that sounds
That's
good.
that's nice. Yeah, we might have to use that.
The dream
The
for
dream for
stream.
stream. I love it. So this project came to fruition back in 2016. We were talking about what was going to be our next project after Terrifier 2 and a normal attraction. But Terrifier 2 wasn't even filmed yet in 2016. It was we did a normal attraction, so we really wanted to jump back into the horror world because that's where our meat and potatoes are. No pun intended. But we really wanted to do like a really cool story, and then eventually down the line we met Damien, did Terrifier 2, and then we were so and right after that it was a great opening to do stream. To get the same exact people that were on Terrifier 2 to work on stream, so there was no skip of a jump or a heartbeat or whatever. We just brought the same team on and continued. Uh, but it shows you that like independent films take so long to make because we don't have that marketing and those investors from the start, from the get-go, or those production companies behind us. It was all us. So writing it and everything was all in-house, and it took from 2016 and to write it and get through a bunch of drafts to get to the ninth draft, and then finally put the pen down and say, all right, let's try to find some funding for this thing. And then in 2020, right before Terrifier ended, we started, ramping up production because we knew we wanted to go right into this. And everything started to work out, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then there was a big question on if we really wanted to, dive into this challenge of filming a movie during COVID. There was a lot of protocols that needed to be, followed. And we said, you know what? We love challenge. We love a challenge. We know we have a great team behind us that we can get this done. Let's go for it. So all the pieces started falling into place, and then we started shooting in the height of COVID, January of 2020, and we didn't look back.
That's that's amazing. Like I actually had this conversation with somebody on an interview not long ago where I've said like COVID, as bad as it was also a blessing in a way because like so many different things have opened since then, like a lot of the actors, like even though they weren't being able to go out and do other stuff, like the platforms like this opened up for them to where a lot of them started doing this. A lot of them like started like talking to people. A lot of them started coming on channels, starting their own channels, things like that.
Right.
And the fact that you guys worked through COVID, like, I mean, even Damien, he was talking about it during like Terrifier 2 and all that. Like, that's insane. Like, you guys, like, this movie is already hyped. Like, it's not even out yet. And it's been in, like, it's been coming, like, we've been waiting for it. And it's already so freaking hyped. And that's amazing. And this is coming from a smaller production company. This isn't like the big people like Warner Brothers and all them who are trying to like take over everything and push all the smaller ones out and crap like that. It's like you guys are stuck in there and like you're delivering nonstop. Terrifier 2 are getting streamed. Like Terrifier 3 is coming out in like 2 months' time, less than
Yep.
2 months now. So
Yeah.
you
It's
guys have
crazy.
been extremely busy.
That's what it is. You want to stay busy because you want to deliver for the fans that have delivered for you and showed up time and time again. And I've always said this that the horror fans are the best fans in the world. There's a movement going on right now that they're buying each other tickets for people who can't afford tickets because we're going through rough times right now with the economy. But a
Exactly.
lot of people can't afford tickets to go and do that luxury in the movie theaters, and horror fans are showing up and actually saying anybody need tickets, I'm willing to help to get people to see this to support independent film, and it opens a paveway or a pathway to all these other independent films that want to see their work on the big screen. Like it's not just about us; it's about opening that pathway to get all independent films the glory and the eyes on it that they deserve, because there's so many talented filmmakers that don't get the light of day, and it's very humbling that they've been there for us and that they're helping us and that they're doing this. But at the same time, it's rewarding for us to be able to do this for them and for them to be happy about it, and all the projects that they supported from Terrifier to Stream to Terrifier 3 and beyond. It makes me smile every time.
Same. And like how you said it, it's absolutely correct. Like the fans, like our horror community is one of the best things ever. Like horror for such a long time was always looked at like a bad word, you know? And we're like such a loyal fan base. They have an amazing thing. Like you see, you talking about the tickets, and I did that too. Like I bought tickets for myself and about like I think six others. Just like I'm like, go watch this movie. Like we want this movie to do as good as possible, and like they deserve this. And the fact that other people, like I've been seeing it on the Facebook page and everything else. By the way, guys, there is a Stream Facebook page. If you are not on it, go on it. It's awesome. You get all the up to dates. Jason's on it, Michael's on it, everybody. Um, but yeah, it goes to show how passionate the fans are about, and not just like horror, not indie horror or anything else, but like you guys as well. Like I think it really shows the fans appreciate and love you guys for everything that you're doing, and like that's awesome, and you guys deserve it. You really do. Like,
Well, that means a lot. But the whole thing is too is we are horror fans, so we're making movies for horror fans. We know I grew up on it when everyone else's parents were showing them Barney and all these other kids shows. My parents were showing me Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leprechaun. Me and Michael used to watch a little TV show on Nickelodeon called You Afraid of the Dark, and that's
oh,
really what
are you afraid of the dark?
yeah,
Yeah,
got us into this business because we really love that type of storytelling. And it's rewarding, and the fans really show up, and they've like I said, they've been so supportive, and it's amazing to see that the community grow on the Stream Facebook page and all our social medias and things like that, and just seeing fans converse with each other, telling each other how excited they are for future projects and beyond is great for all of us and great for independent horror as a whole.
exactly. Yeah, we'll jump back into that here in a second.
Yeah.
But one thing I did want to ask you, because you're bringing up your childhood and everything else. By the way, your parents raised you guys right, because that's how my
I know.
that's
I
how
got great
mine
parents.
was. At
Yeah.
5 years old, my first horror movie was Halloween '78, and like just ever since then, it was like I'm sold.
There you go.
So,
That's it. That's it.
um, but so what I wanted to ask, one of the questions that I had was like, you and your brother Michael, like you guys started Fuzz on the Lens Productions.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, like, how did that come to be? Like, what was the steps for? Because you turned it into something major now. Like you guys are like the talk of the town as far as like, especially in the horror community. You guys are like the buzz now. So how did that come to be? How did Fuzz on the Lens come to be what it is?
Well, the whole thing is that when I was little, me and my brother would steal my mom's video camera and make little small short films and things like that, spoofs and things, run around with the neighborhood kids. While they were all playing Manhunt, we were shooting movies. Uh, and we would be doing that for a whole childhood. It was something we knew that we wanted to do. This was the path that we wanted to take together, which is also a great thing too. When you're taking this journey with your brother, it means the world. You can always have someone to lean on both sides of the spectrum, him with me and me with him. And that's really where it really started, was back in the day. We always loved watching horror films, always loved, it was a special bond that we shared with each other. And then eventually we got to, the higher parts of middle school, and we met our other business partner, Steve Delasala. He's a childhood friend of mine, someone I trust is a brother to me. And we decided we all went to high school together, college together. But in high school, we would shoot, spoofs with all the teachers.
Yeah.
So like we ran this television studio, and we would bring all the teachers like after school and shoot like Saw spoofs and James Bond spoofs and all that stuff. And that really got us to, communicate with actors and learning how to deal with people. And then eventually in 2010, when I graduated high school, is when we formally formed the company, Buzz on the Lens. And everyone asked me, where did you come up with the name? Like, where did the name come up?
I was gonna
How
ask.
did it come about? Right. So there's a funny story behind it, because I always feel that a name for a company should describe your personality. So when we were filming a short film, we were filming a scene, and there was a fuzz on the lens. So we were trying to wash it off, and it wouldn't come off. We're like, what the hell's going on? We're looking at it. There's all recorded footage of it because it was rolling. The camera was rolling. We looked like morons. So we're looking at it. We're looking at it. Finally, we're like, oh man, we can't. Let's just shoot it. So we were shooting it, and then finally we realized that, like, we pointed out to each other that the fuzz wasn't on the lens. It was on the actual screen of the viewfinder. So all we had to do was just so we were just shows it just shows like how how the fun really still existed when we were filming back then. And we were like, what should be when we were coming up with the name, we were like, what's catchy and what has a great story behind it that really explains who we are. And that was what came out.
That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of it, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you was like, so you guys, you are in partnership with like Damien Leone. You guys work on obviously on Terrifier 2. You guys are about to work on Terrifier 3. You are working on Terrifier 3, I should say.
Starfire 3 is basically it's done, it's shot, it's finished.
Yeah, we're
So
just
now it's
waiting
just
now.
getting to the theaters and doing some last minute cleanups on it. So
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, like, how did that partnership come to be? Like, how did you guys like meet with Damien and just like become this force of nature that's out right now?
well, it's funny because Damien's from Staten Island, and we've never really met with him before this
Oh,
actual
wow.
instance that I'm about to explain came up, which is actually a crazy turn of events. So we were shooting a film called Abnormal Attraction. We were, Bruce Davison, Jim Hanks, Michael Buscemi, Steve Buscemi's brother,
Hmm.
and Leslie Easterbrook was in it. And we were shooting this scene at the end. It was like the big climax, and we were just about to shoot it. And a friend of mine, his name is Jason Milstein. He was doing the sound engineering and all, the boom mic and everything.
Hmm.
He said, I have a really close friend of mine. He loves the process of making movies. He loves being on set. His name is Phil Falcone. And he said, is it okay if he came to watch you to come watch and learn and because he really loves that stuff. So he said, yeah, of course, we love having people visit set. And if I wish I had the fruits of that when I was younger, and Phil's a young guy,
Yeah.
but when I was younger, to be able to learn like that. So I was like, yes, I would love to have Phil come on. So Phil came. And he really loved how he worked, and he loved our personality. We gelled. We have the same sense of humor. And he came up to us and he said, hey, I got this clown movie. I don't know if it's going to really go anywhere. He goes, we just finished the principal production, Terrifier 1.
Yeah.
But we want to shoot some pickups. Would you be interested in doing that? And we said, yeah, of course. We would love to do that because we always love to work. And then he said, we also might have some acting roles. I see Jay, you act, and Mike and Steve, you guys act, right? And he said, yeah. He goes, I want to pass along your self tapes to the director, Damien Leone. And we were like, okay, yeah, sure. So it was the ending scene, the two cops, the whole cop thing with
Yeah.
Hart when he shoots himself, and the decapitation of scene with the exterminator. So they said, all right, Jay and Steve, you try out for the cops, and then Mike will do the exterminator because they didn't want two bald exterminators because the other guy was a bald exterminator. So they were like, all right, let's bring Michael on to do that. So we auditioned, got the part, and then we did the roles and did all the pickups with Damien. We got very close with Damien. And then he started seeing some of our work, like Halloween 60. We did the spoof on Michael Myers. They keep doing the same thing. So we did the
Hmm.
spoof on YouTube called Halloween 60, made him old, made him, taking like Viagra and all that stuff. It was funny. He loved how it was shot. And then he was like, guys, how would you like to come on and help me with Terrifier 2? Because Terrifier 1 was really picking up and it had that little culty audience, but it wasn't, where it was yet. And he
Yeah.
said, I really like how you guys are working. I like the gel. I like the partnership. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And we jumped right into Terrifier 2, and the rest is history.
That is that is so amazing. Like,
Yeah.
just something like that and how it like shaped everything to where it's at right now. Um, I love that. I absolutely love that. I do want to go back to stream now. So
Let's do it.
for those who don't know, Jason is, if I remember correctly, your player one, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so is there anything like, so like I want to do at some point, like it'll probably be after the movie comes out. I want to do like an in-depth of each player.
Yeah.
But can you give me any like it's like when I talked with Mark, I asked him, I was like, hey, is like there were like a favorite kill you had, anything like that he could think of. He couldn't really talk a whole lot about it, obviously, because he's trying to save the surprises for the
Right.
movie. But like I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Is like, is there anything about stream that you can like let us know about, especially with your player? Like I'll ask you directly since you are player one. We've seen you in the trailers, which are freaking awesome. Like those trailers, like I did the review on them, and Jesus, like
Yeah.
they're
I'm
so
happy. They're
good.
Good.
But is there anything that you could tell us about like your player? Just any type of snips or hidden, like not hidden meanings, but like you know what I mean? Like any type of thing that I don't want to say would like lead to his motive, but you know what I mean?
Well, I think like all the players, what's unique about this story is that all the players are in for a goal. There's really no meaningless kills, which I always thought in horror films, like I don't like the kills that like, they don't matter. There's no meaning
Yeah.
behind them. So we wanted to give meaning behind the kills, which means they're getting points now
Mhm.
stylistic points on the kills and the brutality of the kills. And each character, has their own type of arc. Mark is the big brute,
Yeah, he's the
physical,
massive meat
monstrous,
guy.
monstrous man. You kind of get the play that that player two is and three are kind of playful in their kills, they're showmans, and then
Yeah.
player one is just out to wreak havoc and
Yeah.
try to do anything he can to try to gain as much points as he can. In a brutal fashion. So all of these kills that we've done and bringing Damien on too is rewarding as well because of his expertise in that type of department. We really wanted to give the fans what they want, which is practical effects and a ton
Mhm.
of gore. And we know
Absolutely.
the right person to work with, and a brother to me, Damien. We became very close. I was just actually talking to him not too long ago, like probably about an hour ago. But we wanted to bring him on to really deliver the type of kills. Obviously, it's not going to be like the bigger like how Terrifier is, but it is
Yeah.
gory. But it is gory and it will deliver. And when we did the cast and crew screenings, we had a lot of people covering their eyes and saying, "Oh shit!" So those are the type of reactions you want. And I'm really excited for the rest of the world to see it on August 21st.
Yes, it's literally coming up. It's next week. It's a few days away.
Crazy.
It's
It's
going to
crazy
be
how long the
awesome.
journey has. It feels like forever when we started the Indiegogo campaign and the fans showed up for that. And I don't say it's my movie or Mike's movie or Damien's movie. It's our movie. It's the fans' movie because we wanted to do a film again made by horror fans for horror fans, and we wanted to give the opportunity for the fans to be involved. And that's why we ran the Indiegogo campaigns, both for Terrifier 2 and for Stream, because we love how the fans engage. We
Yes.
love how supportive they are, and we wanted to welcome them in to, this madness that we're trying to build and trying to make a different type of genre of horror, which is called the mega slasher now that everyone's calling it. So
Yes.
it's crazy.
It's accurate. Speaking of, because you're saying like this, this is everybody's movie, and you guys are delivering like as far as like just some of the actors you have in this movie. It's mind boggling between Tony Todd, Danielle Harris, like Jeffrey Combs, what was it, Tim Reed is in it. Like there's a who's who, and like that's insane. Mark actually hinted to something, like he wouldn't give it away obviously, but he said there's even somebody that makes an appearance that you guys have not dropped. There
Yep,
is a
we have not.
surprise.
There is. You have to stay
So
for the post-credit scene to find out who that is, but
yep.
I will promise you, it will be worth the wait. That I can tell you. It will be worth the wait. And we always thought that now bringing it back to bringing it back to the front of your question is we always wanted a film that had all these horror icons in it, but it wasn't, misadvertised that when fans go and see it, they're only in like a 2 seconds of the movie or they
Yeah.
come in for a split second and it's kind of like you're teased by it. Me and Mike sat down and we said, if we're going to get all these actors in this film, we want them to play off each other and we want them to be throughout the film.
Mhm.
We want them to be in the movie, not just, oh, here he is. And then there he goes.
Yeah, not
We
just
want
like
them
a
to be
little
in the length that
glimpse.
and play into each other and give the fans what they wanted, what they didn't get with these other movies, with all these horror icons that are in the same film. So I do promise you, they are in this film. Tim Reed is great. Jeffrey Combs, a person came up to me and told me this was his best performance he's ever done. So
Holy
I'm
hell.
very, and that's high praise. It's
That
very high
is like
praise.
wow.
And Jeffrey killed it. Every scene he's in, you could see the charisma, you could see the talent, and just watching him behind the scenes, how he got involved with the character and how he brought how this character would think, and he would sit with Michael on the side and really go over his history and things that are not even in the script, things that he wanted, to add to the character. He was so invested. And it was the same with everybody. Danielle Harris as well. We wanted to give her more, a role that people haven't really seen her in, as a caring mother, and show that side of acting guts, and she delivered. That's the one thing I'll say. Every single actor in this film really, really delivered. Charles Edward Powell, who's been out of the acting business for a while, he did
Mhm.
The Exorcist 3, and we said he said this was my first film out of retirement because he gave it up a while ago and he came out, and he was so proud of the performances, so proud of the story, and we were so fortunate that all the actors agreed, like right when they got the script and read it, and they loved it. So we're really excited for the ride fans are about to be on. It's exciting. It's fun. It's great to see with a full audience. So that's why we urge everybody, if you're going to go to the theaters, grab your friends, grab anybody that you think watching this type of movie would be fun because the experience overall and the reactions are worth it. Going to the movies is an experience. Let's get back to that.
Exactly. And like we're starting to see glimpses of that with other movie. Like I haven't seen a theater as full and since like Avengers Endgame up
Yes.
until like Deadpool and Wolverine. Like
Yeah.
that was like one of those movies where it was packed and it was like we need to get back to this. Like every movie should be like this, you know,
Yeah.
especially with horror. And but no, I absolutely agree with that. And, like you guys got Felissa Rose in there. Like you have an amazing like this is a legendary cast. Like when I did the review of the regular trailer and the Red Band trailer, I said that I was like, this is a legendary. This is like a goated cast. Like
Yeah.
and like we're not even talking about David. Like David Howard Thornton's in there as player two. We got you in there. Like it's such an amazing cast. Like you guys truly did give to the fans and it's not even out yet and you guys like it shows like you guys are definitely horror fans like you're giving it back to us and it's amazing and so another thing I wanted to ask like I also asked Mark a similar question without spoilers without giving anything away is could it be possible that stream could lead into a streams or a stream two, stream three, like anything like that? Is it unrealistic to think that it is possible that if this movie does well, that we can get a second one or maybe a prequel with like backstories to the players or something like that?
Well, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of story that still needs to be told. The aspects of the dark web are unlimited. There, I feel like there's a lot of unknowns about it, and where horror, the horror genre really hits most is what is unknown. That's what's scary to a lot of people. The story, there's a lot more story to tell. We would be very excited to do, stream two. We're already, in the process of thinking about where the story can lead and what else we can tell, and there's outlines for it, and there's ways we want to take the actual story. But yeah, I can say the possibilities are endless, and we would love to explore it even further if the fans give us the opportunity to. And that's all them showing up and showing support, and so far, so good.
Awesome, awesome. Another question about stream. I'm sorry, we are going to be talking a little bit more about stream because it is
Yeah, of
coming up
course.
and like we're all hyped about it. I need to ask you, I don't know if you've been asked this or not, but I need to know where the idea for this mask came up with because this is freaking amazing.
I
This mask
appreciate it.
is awesome as hell. This is going to be one of those things like you remember Ghostface mask and stuff like that. This is going to be one of those masks that people aren't going to forget. So I need to know how you guys came up with this just absolutely epic looking mask.
Well, it's funny. We were sitting around trying to think of the concept of what we wanted these players to look like, and we kind of wanted the opposite of what was put out there. So Michael Myers was very, straightforward face, blank face, white face. Scream, white face. All these people with we wanted the single emotion, so we wanted a smile. And the smile is very creepy because when you're doing these things and it shows enjoyment, it's even more scary. And then we were like, you know what? A lot of these people or a lot of these horror icons, you never see their eyes. It's always darkness. It's always because they think it's scary that you don't see it. Let's light these eyes up so that we can allow these killers to show emotion with their eyes, which would be really, really cool. And you add these LEDs type of modern technology to it, like a PS4 controller. So player one is blue, player two is green, player three is yellow, and so on and so forth for red. So we wanted to bring that modern horror aspect to that 80s retro and bring them both together and clash. And the face was we wanted to like the color of it. It's actually that's like a signature mask that Scarecrow's made, but they're making a more screen accurate one, which has carbon fiber on it. And
Oh,
we
hell
wanted
yeah.
to make it, yeah, we wanted to make it like an iPhone screen because everyone's always looking at the screens. It's that black
Yep.
kind of reflective thing. So that's again bringing that modern day horror with the 80s and clashing them both together. So that's what we wanted. We wanted to blend both of the worlds, and that's where the concept came. It went through many trials and errors with it, and then finally we got a look that we really thought can really catch on. And I'm very happy that everyone likes the mask. So it's already sold out on Scarecrows, which is
Yep.
nuts. The signature editions are gone. So
Yeah,
now
the
it's just him
moment
doing the
that went up on pre-order, I was like, that's mine.
yeah, so like a lot of fans love it, and we love like everybody's making having fun with the mask and making their own players. Player 171, I saw player one, player 15, they're making their own styles. That's what it's meant for. Meant to do that, and they're taking away with it, and the creativity is showing, and the community is coming together and backing these players that they've never even met yet. But it's awesome.
Yeah, like what I talked to Mark and I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like after as much as like I love you and as much as I love David, like player four is just insane. Like
I know everyone loves Fightful.
he's a giant like meat mountain of a man, and like just that trailer it was like crazy. And so when I talked to him, I told him I was like, man, like you're like the new King Harder. You're like the new like the big guy who's like gonna terrify the crowd. No pun intended, but it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna terrify people. And like even you, like watching those trailers, watching your guys' mannerisms, you could clearly tell the difference. You look at your player compared to like David in player two, and then like player three, like you can tell, like you could tell player two is David, like the little
Yes.
thing he does like that is very
Yep.
Art the Clownish.
Yeah.
So like, but you guys, your mannerisms, like I really love that, and I think a lot of people that I've talked to, they like that as well. They like that, like each of you have your own mannerisms. Like, was that designed on purpose? Was that just like the way you guys were all like, hey, I want to play this character this way? Like, how did that come to be?
No, I think the whole thing is you want each of the players to have their own type of skill set and their own type of way of doing things, and Dave being the showman, like you don't want it to be too boring, and it's cool because in other slasher films you only have one killer. Now you have four killers that you can
Mm-hmm.
watch on screen, and you can see how they kill in many different ways and different styles. So it actually keeps the viewer interested, I think, to have multiple killers like this four at a time, because now it's like who you're rooting for, which one's the best, which one's that creates controversy. One person might wipe player one, one person might wipe player four, one person might be rooting for player two. So it's really really cool to add more to that competition and that style of this whole idea of the game night, and it gets the audience invested in it, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and like I feel like the one player that not a lot of people are talking about is player three,
Oh, she's
but
great. She has some great kills, man.
and
She
that's what I was like. She just seems very What was it? It was one of the Purge movies where they had like the female killer, right? She put the mask on and
yeah.
like she just turned and like she has very similar mannerisms. I noticed, and I really like that. Um, but we're getting another female killer. We don't have a whole lot of female killers in horror movies, so
Mm-hmm.
another female killer, like I'm excited for that as well. Like
Yeah, that's it. That's it too, because we thought that the film was, the world was lacking a female killer, and we were like, we have to have a female killer in this, and she's got to be badass. So you're gonna see a lot of like cool scenes with her, acting with the other killers and playing with their victims. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
absolutely, absolutely. Another question I had for you, like this is more of a personal one based off of your childhood and everything else. So I know earlier you had mentioned, watching like Are You Afraid of the Dark, stuff like that when you were little. But what got you into horror movies? If you can remember something, like what was like maybe your favorite horror movie, or what was the one thing that hooked you into horror where you're like, yeah, I love this.
Well, one of the films that I really enjoyed was the TV series. That's what really scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, because I remember the shower scene when the clown came out of the
Yeah.
drain, and I wouldn't take a shower for like weeks. I'm like, what is this world it kept me up at night? I'm like, what is this? So that performance was unbelievable. I don't think anybody tops Tim Curry in that movie. But that was just the start, and then it opened the floodgates to watching, Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Leprechaun, which is like that kind of comic relief type of one. I
Yeah.
love Warwick Davis. Me and Michael have always been big fans. Always wanted to meet him. Always wanted to work with Warwick Davis too, which is crazy. Too bad he's in the UK. But all it opened up that viewership while me and Michael were sitting there watching when we were younger, and it all started from that. So
That's
from
amazing.
Pennywise, which is really really cool, and was gave me nightmares. Like literally scared the shit out of me. So that's where I would say it
Absolutely.
started.
That is amazing. Um, so another thing I wanted to talk about, just to sway a little bit. So in 2 months' time, less than 2 months' time now, we got Terrifier 3 coming out, which you guys are very heavily a part of.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you, like, just how was the experience? Like, obviously, you guys were working on Terrifier 2 and all that, but how was the experience working on this one, knowing the hype behind Terrifier 3? Like, everybody's been waiting for this movie. And so, how was the experience with that? Is there anything that you guys can share with us as far as like Terrifier 3 goes? Is it going to leave anything open? Is it going to lead to more project for you guys?
Well, I'll say this: Terrifier 3 is very, very brutal, and I never thought we could
We
push
always
limits
hear
even
this.
more. We can't. I really thought we couldn't push limits even more, but then we just continued to surprise ourselves, and it was a blast filming this. Obviously, when you're filming with people you consider family who've been on this ride for now 3 movies now,
Yep. Crazy.
it's crazy, insane, and it's never really, this is my show. Like Damien's always open to like coming to us and saying, "Hey, man, do you think this works and what doesn't work?" And he's always, grateful with that, and he always makes it a great experience, and it's always fun because you have these people that you've been doing these movies with for so long, and but I will promise you, there's a lot of kills in this thing that are insane, and
Yes.
I think we topped the bedroom scene with a certain kill
Holy
that you
crap.
guys that you guys will see. And a lot of people didn't think we would top the one when we cut the girl in half, but the bedroom scene proved that it was toppable.
Like a
And I
five
think this
minute kill scene.
and I think this one delivers the goods and it's be well worth the wait. Even though it was a really short turnaround, we shot that in February, and we finished up at the end of March, something like that. I don't really
Yeah.
remember, but now it's just getting close to the finish line of that movie. So now you have a little pre-appetizer with Stream, and then the main course at Terrifier will be coming out October 11th. So it'll be here before you know it.
I know it's crazy to think about. Like we just it this year for horror has been absolutely phenomenal, man. Like you had Long Legs, you had Maxine, Alien Romulus just came out. Now we got Stream coming up, and then like we get a little tiny break, and then we get Terrifier 3. Like I honestly think like we have a resurgence in horror lately, and I do believe it is in big part of the Terrifier franchise because of you guys like Fuzz on the Lens. Like I really do believe that this resurgence is happening and horror's picking up again because all of a sudden we have a new icon. Like we have
Yeah,
Art the Clown, there's Freddy, Jason, Michael, Art.
yeah.
And so like you guys are a huge reason why this resurgence is going on right now. And like I speak as a fan, and not only like do I get the honor of interviewing all you guys, but like just in general, just saying thank you for doing everything that you guys have been doing. Like this has been a great time to be a horror fan again, and it feels amazing.
That means a lot. It's very humbling that you say that, and we do it for you guys. And because again, I can't stress enough, we are you guys, and we know what we want to see in horror, and we know that it's the same thing with what you guys want to see: practical effects, score, really cool kills, but a great story as well. So like we try to deliver for you guys because if you guys are proud, we're proud. So that's the main thing. That's always been the main mission, and hopefully we can continue to do that from here on out.
Yes, sir. Um, so another question that I had for you is with again, like this is kind of hard given that all these movies coming out with you guys, but do you have anything in the works after all of this come out? Do you guys have any other projects that you are currently working on, plotting on, anything like that that you're able to share at this time?
Well, we are exploring more with the dark web. Like I said,
Yes.
we're trying to figure out that stuff. We've gotten to a treatment with that. But we're always looking for our next project. We have a bunch of stuff that a couple ideas that are not really written on paper yet, and we've been having meetings and things like that. But once this madness of Stream and Terrifier kind of subside, we'll get more into that and really start focusing on what's next. But we do have ideas, and we do have more, story to tell with old franchises. Oh,
Awesome. That is amazing. I want to ask you one more question just because I don't want to take up too much of your
yeah,
time. I
sure.
know you're a busy man. Um, so I know you already said, like we're as a whole and everything else, but like what would you like to say to all of your fans that are going to be watching this video who are going to be going out to watch the movies when they're out and all of that? And after that, it's like a two-parter, I guess. And then what advice would you give them?
Well, first, I want to say to all the fans that are watching this, I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. It means the world to us, all the support that you've shown us from the very beginning, from when I meet you guys in person at the cons, and when you guys come on, the live streams that I do on my Facebook page, to all the nice things you guys say within the groups that are created by the fans and that we had the privilege of being a part of. This doesn't exist without you guys. It's a pleasure to be to entertain you guys and to tell and to get into the business of storytelling, and we do it for you guys. So thank you so much for that. And then the second part of your question is the advice that I would give to you guys is never stop believing in yourself. Always dream big. Nothing is too much. Nothing is too much out of reach. Always reach for your dreams, no matter what it is. Dream big and never give up on those dreams.
That is great advice. And again, like I'm a broken record when I say it, but thank you so much, like just for that advice, for everything that you do on behalf of all the fans. Like we love, we appreciate you guys, you, your brother, everybody. Just thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and I'm saying it directly to you as well because you guys, you deserve the accolades, you guys deserve the praise, you deserve everything. So, like it means a lot to us. So like
I appreciate
we're
that, man.
all gonna support the hell out of you guys. Like
Thank
you
you.
guys are gonna be going.
Thank you so much. And again, I can't stress enough. It means the world to us. It's very humbling that you said that, and that a lot of people come up to us and say, they're having a rough time, or the world is kind of crazy for them, and no one knows what anybody's going through. But they come up to you and they say, this movie made saved me, or this movie, made my day, or this post made my day, and be able to do that for somebody is amazing. And I just ask everybody in the community, look out for one another, because you never know what someone's going through, and be there for each other. And that's the most important thing. Love each other, and you can see the love with the franchise, and with the groups that people are buying tickets for each other and
Yep.
really supporting the hell out of this thing. And we couldn't ask for any a better fan base. So, guys, thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you as well, everybody. I appreciate you guys watching this. Make sure you go check out stream August 21st. It's literally coming up. It's Wednesday. It is almost here. Go to the theater, check it out again. I'm going to like two different showings on Wednesday alone.
That's great.
So make sure you guys check it out and then check out Terrifier 3.
Yep,
It,
coming to theaters. And then also, I just want to say, guys, the pre sales are enormous for us to continue this showing and to get it extended. So show up in the pre sales, get your friends, share the link, buy for each other, share the link to your friends, tell your friends to go to the theater, because we also want to help the theaters out too, because we don't want them to die. That's where we grew up, watching that experience with all your friends in the movie theaters. We want to keep the theaters going, and we also want to keep independent horror and independent films in general in the theaters to get, like I said, get other people's work in the spotlight. So this means a lot by sharing the pre-link site. So just share it onto your, Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and it goes a long way.
exactly. Don't let the big studios push this movie out. We're going to take it over, guys.
That's it. Independent horror is here, and it's here to stay.
Damn right it is. With that said, thank you all for watching. This has been Jeff with the Horror Fiend. Stay good. Later.